Arkansas and state governments across the country are feeling budgetary pressures accompanied by increased demand for services. The judicial system is no exception. The wheels of the justice system are in constant motion, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And more court systems are leveraging the power of video conferencing technology to accelerate the judicial process by holding court proceedings remotely. One prime example is the court system in Collin County, Texas.
I heard that they were looking at this technology for the court system, and I approached our IT director and talked about the success that we had had using the system.
I think our county really stepped out of the box when looking at video conferencing systems. We really looked to see how we could implement it into our current system using the current laws that we have. We worked together as a collaborative team to come up with the ideas of how we can do it and do it right.
Well, I'm relatively new at this, but I think this is great.
Video conferencing allows time slots to be created for the video arraignment of inmates or other court proceedings, but a key question in Collin County, Texas was whether the judges would buy in.
Hello?
Judge, Tim here. We'll be ready for you to come into court in about 10 minutes.
Well, and that's probably the hardest part of the system is to get the buy-in from everybody. And I will tell you, at least in the district courts here and where I am, the judges do buy into it.
I wasn't totally sure how it would work when we started, but it frankly has worked very well. It's just as if everybody were in the same room. For the purpose of taking pleas, it has worked very well. How do you plead?
The initial reluctance is the same reluctance we see. People are afraid to try new things. They don't know what's going to happen. So you have to get a buy-in from them. Start it, let's try it out, see what you really think after a period of time. That happened here.
By incorporating video technology into court systems, neighboring states to Arkansas are translating this investment into savings in time, money, manpower, and security.
In the past, this process resulted in people having to be driven to the courthouse and to a bridge. In driving these people, it's a public safety issue. Also, many man-hours are expended to take care of these prisoners. By doing the arraignments in this manner, we will save money for the taxpayers of Anderson County, Tennessee, and will also increase the public safety by these prisoners not having to be in with the public or on the roadway.
You do have an incident, sometimes you see that in court, where a defendant is not too happy and so they're staying in the jail in the confines of the jail, so it's definitely a safety issue and a manpower cost-saving issue.
Other duties that our deputies tend to, aside from transport, this is going to free up those man hours that we can be on the street protecting our businesses, protecting our citizens.
The sheriff doesn't have to expend personnel to safeguard the transportation of prisoners back and forth to the courtrooms.
We still have to have a person walk that person into the video arraignment room and stay there with them, but we're not having the logistics of planning people to be here to pick up, bring back, transfer back into our system. Also booking in, booking out, going to court and all that process. There's no chance of an inmate escaping while being transferred to court.
There's also a cost with regard to having the prosecutors spread out to multiple courts rather than just concentrated into one court.
In Arkansas, the State Crime Lab envisions expanding the scope of video conferencing technology to encompass the remote delivery of court testimony by its subject matter experts, such as forensics experts, chemists, toxicologists, or medical examiners.
It's not uncommon for us to get 2 or 3 subpoenas for the same day. Utilizing video testimony would allow them to actually appear in all of those courtrooms at different times of the day on the same day, which is extremely important. And that's more frequent than not these days when we get multiple subpoenas for one analyst to testify in different courts throughout the state. Not that it just helps out the crime lab, it helps out the whole judicial system. With our backlog, we're expected to be very timely in our reports, and that's extremely important to the families of loved ones who unfortunately have been sent to us for autopsy. They rely on their death certificate, and that takes time. So if I have a toxicologist that travels to district court frequently, that means they're not on the bench performing their analysis, which is detrimental as far as time goes. So if we had a video testifying program out there, especially in district courts, then I believe it would alleviate some of that backlog because they would be here in the laboratory analyzing the evidence from cases on autopsy or DUIs, whatever cases that they have on board to look at.
But the bigger vision for integrating video conferencing technology into the state's judicial system broadens its value beyond the state crime lab.
If there's a civil case even in a district where we have this capability, someone from the Med Center, from Children's Hospital, or from Baptist could come to our facility or even from their facility and testify this way. So again, it's a technology that's not just beneficial for the forensic setting, it's also beneficial for those other disciplines out there that still have to render testimony in a courtroom situation.
The ability to record and retain video testimony will enable courts to meet the stringent requirements for due process. The cost savings in travel, vehicle maintenance, fuel, and manpower combine to make statewide adoption of video technology in the state's court system a cost-efficient and smart business investment.
We have to cover 75 different counties, and it becomes very difficult to be able to cover all the counties with all the subpoenas that we get. And I really believe that if we're going to become more efficient, we really have to look at technology in order to achieve some of those goals of efficiency, which we are always trying to strive to do here at the Crime Lab. If you look at 2012, we testified and actually made appearances, not testified, made appearances in court 509 times, and that is both in district and circuit courts. Well, if I look at that as a whole, 67% of the time when we made actual appearances, we did not testify. And that's a significant amount of time. If I separate out just the district courts from that, 27% of the time when we show up, we do not render any testimony. So we're actually appearing somewhere, driving 2 or 3 hours, and again, it's the analyst time, it's the gas, the wear and tear on the vehicle, and the lack of bench hours that we can be spending here that is very counterproductive.
Video conferencing erases geographical boundaries, streamlines the judicial process, and increases efficiency, all key reasons it's rapidly increasing in popularity, and a key reason the State Crime Lab is ready to take the first step toward creating the courtroom of the future in the state of Arkansas.
One of the things that we'd really like to do is put this in some strategic locations where we go often. And if we're able to do that and the system works well and it's functional, that's great. But if we don't make the attempt, we'll never know that. We'll never proceed, we'll never make advances in efficiency that the citizens of Arkansas expect from us. We're always trying to perform the best service possible, and I think this is one mechanism, an avenue that we can do so. And I firmly believe that Arkansas can lead the pace with this process and show other states how to be more efficient in what we've instigated here in our state.
You're going to become more efficient with this program. I think you're going to get the buy-in of defense counsel over time.
Take about 5 minutes to really go into this product, this equipment, this technology.
Don't bring the technology into the system to say, hey, let's give it a chance to fail. Bring it into the system and give it a chance to succeed.